themselves. Yeah, well, expect for stuff like broccoli, and who wants to eat that? Ugh.
And why did everyone suddenly start stocking up on toilet roll? I read a bit about coronavirus, and nowhere could I find that one of its symptoms was an increase of having to go to the loo.
We went weeks without any. We had to use kitchen roll until that ran out too.
Then what did you do?
You don't want to know.
Mum? Mum?
Yes.
Where's Dad? He should have been back from the shop ages ago. It's way past dinner time and we're all starving.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure he won't be long now. Then we can have dinner. It's going to be fish fingers, chips, and baked beans tonight.
Yes, my favourite. You can't eat fish fingers, chips, and baked beans. And what about the deluxe creamy yogurts I like for pudding? And a bottle of Coke? It's Friday, remember? We're allowed Coke on Fridays.
Well, they were on the shopping list I gave him, so I expect so. Crikey, love. What on earth has happened to you?
Have you been run over, Dad? Have you been mugged? Have you been attacked by the next door neighbour's Jack Russell again?
No, not that. I've been to Tesco.
Yes, we know that. I sent you there with the shopping list 2 hours ago. How did you get yourself into this state just by going to Tesco?
You don't know what it's like out there. Ever since they announced this lockdown, it's every man for the world's gone mad. It's every man for himself. They're stripping the supermarket shelves of everything. There's fighting in the aisles. I don't even know how I managed to get out there alive.
That sounds terrible, Dad. But did you get our dinner?
Yeah, Dad, did you?
You know, fish finger chips and baked beans, deluxe creamy yogurts, a bottle of Coke.
Well, I got all on the list more or less.
More or less? What do you mean more or less? Did you or didn't you?
I did my best to make sure that we have fish fingers, chips and beans with Coke to drink and yogurt for pudding. Sort of. It's just going to take a bit of our imagination. Now, I know they weren't on the list, but I've been thinking for a long time now that we don't eat enough green veg. So, and plus there's plenty of broccoli and peas left in the shop, so...
Oh! What about the stuff you were supposed to get? Oven chips?
And beans.
Ah, yes, oven chips. Okay, they ran out of those, but they did have parsnips. So if we just cut them up and brush them with oil, ta-da! Chips.
You're joking! I'll just stick to fish fingers and baked beans.
Ah, yes, peas. Ah, yes, beans. Okay, they ran out of those too, so I bought lovely chickpeas with tomato puree.
Dad, that's gross. Can you at least manage to find fish fingers?
I did manage to find fish fingers, but not the ones you're quite used to. But they're fingers of fish nonetheless. I managed to get 1 tin of tuna. So if we just roll these into finger-sized portions, and here's the best bit: they don't need cooking. We can eat them cold.
But did you at least manage to find the yogurts?
Oh yeah. I managed to get the last 2 litres of milk. So, and here's the best bit: they're expired. So if you just leave them in a warm place and for a bit, ta-da! Yogurt.
That's disgusting!
And what about the Coke?
Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. I tried. I really did. It's just that the fish fingers, the chips, the beans, the Coke, the drink, the yogurt for pudding. There's none left.
Okay, we know it's not your fault. Well done for trying your best. Okay, I suppose we can get a Chinese. I think I saw on the news that they're still allowed to stay open. I'll give the Chinese a ring, shall I?
Yes, Chinese, great idea. But Dad, what's in the other bag?
Oh yeah. I managed to get 20 copies of today's Daily Mail.
And what, may I ask, are we supposed to do with those? It's not an attempt to get us to read more instead of being on our screens, is it?
And 20 of them as well.
Well, there was one more thing that the shoppers ran out of that was on the list.
What was that?
Ta-da! Loo roll!
Lockdown certainly did present us with a few challenges, didn't it? So many rules and regulations, which meant big changes to our lives.
I found some of the instructions really confusing, and they kept on changing. The people in charge are struggling to know what to do for the best sometimes.
Jobs have been lost, livelihoods have been ruined, and families have struggled to adapt to huge changes.
The shops had to shut, then they could open, then they had to shut again.
We couldn't go to restaurants and we were told to eat out to help out, and then we were told that we couldn't do that.
We weren't allowed to play sports, but then we were, but only outside. We couldn't go watch our favourite teams play. I couldn't keep up.
Then there's the whole thing about bubbles and tears. Who you could see, where you could see them, and for how long. I really don't envy the people who had to stand up week after week in front of cameras and update the nation.
Here we go again. I didn't get any sleep last night worrying about this.
Me neither. It seems that every week we have to update the nation on what they have to do to stop this virus spreading.
No wonder they're getting confused. Maybe we're just not making things clear enough for them. Don't leave the house.
Unless you have to leave the house.
Don't go to work.
Unless you have to go to work.
You can mix with people in a bubble of 6. If there's an hour in the month and it hasn't rained for 3 days, then there's the tiers. You're in this tier, they're in that tier. This whole thing has made me in tiers.
Which is why we need a different approach. So did you manage to read the document I prepared? Do you think it'll work?
Well, it's worth a try. It can't do any harm.
It's certainly radical, I'll give you that. We may as well give it a shot.
Okay then, let's do this.
Thank you everybody for joining us at today's COVID briefing. Now, as you're aware, the situation with regard to this virus remains serious.
We understand that the instructions we may have previously given may have been unclear, leaving many of you unsure about what you need to do.
However, while we wait for the next set of scientific findings from which we will come up with another set of different instructions for you, there are 3 things we need you to do. 3 things which have remained the same since the beginning of all of this.
And today, we'd really like to reinforce these just so you're in no doubt. Firstly, wash your hands at every opportunity, as we know you can pick up the virus from infected surfaces. Secondly, keep a 2-metre distance from people when you leave your homes for sexual activity.
And thirdly, wear a mask to reduce the risk of transmitting and contracting the virus through your breath. Now, we've said these things before, but many of you still don't seem to understand.
So to shake things up a little bit, to make the message a little more funky and groovy, especially for you younger, cooler dudes, let's, in a socially distant manner of course, rock!
Hey, back off, man.
Social distancing, remember?
yeah, silly me. Well, my word, that was very energetic. I got a bit carried away there. Look, I even took my tie off. Rock and roll.
I'm sure you'll need refreshments after that performance. I've laid out tea and biscuits backstage, if you'd like to join us.
Well, that's kind, but we'll pass.
You've got to keep you safe, remember?
I think we've found that having a sense of humour certainly helps us cope with life's challenges. But we mustn't forget COVID pandemics and lockdowns were devastating for so many people.
Jobs have been lost, livelihoods have been ruined, and families have struggled to adapt to huge changes.
Yes, we've taken a look at a few aspects of lockdown in a light-hearted way this evening, but the pressures and other things have created are very real.
And the effect that social distancing has led to isolation, loneliness and depression in lots of vulnerable people. And in our efforts to shield older family members, they have often gone months without being in contact with the people they love.
And of course, many lives have been lost. Some of us may have been more personally affected by this than others, but as individuals, a family, school, community, nations and the world, we have all been touched by what's happened.
So let's take a moment to think about and remember those who throughout this difficult time have paid the highest price.
I believe there is a place in my heart. I can go there when I please. It is filled with the things that I love and memories I keep. I believe there is a place in my heart, and I go there when I choose. I can see all the things that I love, and that's where I see you. And even though you had to go, still we see your light. In my heart, we're not apart, we fly so high, we fly so high. I believe there is a place in my heart. I can go there when I please. It is filled with the things that I love and memories I keep. I believe there is a place in my heart, and I go there when I choose. I can see all the things that I love, and that's where I see you. See you.
Come on, let's try and finish on something positive, shall we? What's giving us hope? Any ideas?
The vaccine is the light at the end of the tunnel.
What a fantastic job those scientists did! How hard they worked to get everything ready so quickly.
I bet there was some celebrations in the lab the day they made the breakthrough. I wish I was a fly on the wall. Stop there.
Hello YouTube! You joined us at the lab, we're having a party. We've done it. The final test results are back, and ladies and gentlemen, we have an effective vaccine. Needless to say, we are very jolly. Now, let's get a reaction from Professor Hans Face in Space, who co-led this research. So, Professor Hans Face in Space, tell us how you're feeling.
Hello everyone. Yes, it's been a crazy few months. We haven't stopped, but here we are, the finish line in sight, and we're celebrating.
Hey, Pamela, say hello to YouTube. Come on, Pam, don't be shy. The great Professor Pandemic, without whose efforts we wouldn't be here. Come on, Pam, say something.
Hi. Well, yes, it's been an amazing breakthrough, but we're only doing a job. This is just what we do.
And this is where it all happened. We've been locked up in this lab 24/7. We haven't seen daylight for months, but now we can relax a little. And some of us seem a little bit more relaxed than others.
Right, we have some loose ends to tie up before we send this vaccine to manufacturers. So it's goodbye from the lab. So, Professor Face in Space,